Howdy, folks. It's, what day is it? It's Tuesday. Let me get my new favorite pick out of my pocket here. It's my new favorite pick. Yeah. So, this is the red Kiesel Candy Apple Red Retro Solo. Pretty nice. I did just move my camera. I'm going to have to adjust it here. Let me do that. Let's see if I can do this without messing things up. And then we'll talk about a guitar I do not need to be buying. I don't need it, but I want it. Man. Yeah. Let's see. Trying to get this right. Get this going. All right. See if that's any better. Point it down just a little bit. So, and hopefully this camera is not going to break. All right. Da da da. It's a matching headstock. Look at that, folks. That is just gorgeous. Now, this is not the guitar I'm referencing, but this is a relatively new guitar that just it checks all the boxes of like needing a telly in your arsenal of some sort. Now, who can guess what my current guitar setup is right now? I know it's going to be very hard to do that, but oh yeah, these new Eastman Fullerton guitars, they look really nice. I'll pull up a web page here so we can take a look at that one. Let's see, they are on Sweetwater. Let's go to sweetwater.com, which I do have affiliate links down below if you want to use them to buy something that you were going to buy anyways, as long as it's within, you know, if you're in the U.S. or wherever you live, and it makes sense for you to do that. But let's see, Eastman Fullerton. Yeah, these are cool, man. And for them being, you know, less than $1,000 to have these kind of specs and features, they're just really cool. This one says is still a pre-order, but let's see what we got here. So this is what Francis is talking about. We got the Eastman FTDC 62 in Desert Sand, and there's also metallic, blue metallic, and there's also a moss black, which are all equally nice. But then we have the other one, which is like $7.99. Let me go back here. Especially this one. So you have an S style and you have a T style, essentially. Because you got the Telecaster pickup there. You got a really cool like mini humbucker type something going on in the neck. So it's neat. What up, Necro Dog? The Desert Sand 62. Yeah. No, I'm not playing through a Flex Prime at the moment. I have a video. I have like about 10 videos I've been meaning to just film and edit and put out there, but basketball, you know, I just keep getting distracted by basketball. Rainy here in Nash Vegas. or Murfreesboro, in the borough, as we like to call it. But I do have a new bearskin hoodie. I've been seeing the advertisements for this jacket for literally months, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I got some Christmas money that I can spend, so I just got this cool like fleece type rain jacket kind of thing. It's very nice. Keeps me very warm, and especially this last week when it has been colder and more rainy than usual. So. And plus it has tons of pockets in it, so you can like put your wallet and your phone and your keys and what else do I have in my pocket here? I snuck from the kitchen. I got some Hershey's Kisses. Oh yeah. I might have one of those a little bit later. All right, let me pull up this website here. It is reverb.com. And sometimes I get a glimpse of a guitar that is just like, wow, I might need that in my life. Sometimes I do, not always, but just sometimes. Like for instance, this SB57 from Eastman. It's basically a Black Beauty, essentially. Let me pull this up so you can see it. Bearskin, yeah, I think it's Norwegian, I think. But the advertisements definitely, they're definitely in English, like, like a American English accent. So, yeah, maybe it is Norwegian-based company. I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into it. So this Eastman right here, it basically gives you the Black Beauty Gibson Les Paul vibes, which I'm all about. Why isn't this thing changing? Wow, what's going on here? Something's going on. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, this is a nice guitar. It is $16.99, which is pretty good price. It's the SB57 NK MBK electric guitar, Blackwood case. Not sure what's happening with the website here. Another Eastman that's very nice is this one. Let's check this one out. I do not need this in my life at all. Nope. I don't need that. No, I don't. No. I will watch it though. I need to log in. Yeah, I'm going to log in. All right, I'm going to watch. Maybe they'll send me like a 10% off or something, which I don't need to buy. But it's a cool guitar. It's very nice. I love Eastman stuff. I actually sold my my other Eastman. But this is just a plain SB59. It's not the varnish type finish. But I do like that top. That top is pretty nice. It's a pretty nice top. All right, let's go here. Let's go to my cart. I actually have this in my cart. I'm not buying anything. I'm just tiptoeing around it, being really careful. See, if I buy this, it's going to be like $2,000. Let's check out the pictures here. Let's check out the pictures. So this is a Les Paul Traditional 2010, which means I probably more than likely, very likely, had either cut the wood for this guitar or shaped the neck or something, because I worked at Gibson between 2005 and 2014. So 2010 would have been right there in the heart of my working experience at Gibson. I could have glued the top, the maple top. I'm not sure. But I just think it's cool, like knowing that you own something that you most likely had a hand in making. And that top just really pops out to me. I had a 2012 traditional. Maybe a 2010, I don't remember. But and the top was nice on that one too as well, but this one just like it really screams Like, hey, I'm a very nice top. Look at me, kind of thing. Let's go to another picture here. See, there's a Les Paul Traditional. Yada, yada. Made in the USA, 2010. So I can't remember. Let's look this up real fast. Gibson, Les Paul, or Gibson serial numbers. Decoder. What is it? 6 formats from 4 factories. Interesting. Let's see what this says here. That's not going to tell me anything. How to read Gibson serial numbers. From 1902 to 1945, Gibson used a sequential factory order number, which consisted of a 3, 4, or 5-digit number, sometimes followed by a 1 or 2 other numbers. Only the first 3 or 4 or 5-digit number is used in dating the instrument. The second set numbers do not aid in dating the instrument. Okay, well, fine. Let's see here. Let's see. Wow, look at all that. I'm trying to see anything that's like more recent. Oh, wow. Okay. 1968. 1970. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, come on. Okay. I don't know how true this is. So, starting in 1977 and continuing on until present day, Gibson began using a standardized and easy to read serial number system. This system was and is very reliable and will always give you a correct year on your guitar. The year of the guitar is determined by the first and fifth digit of the number. These 2 digits represent the last 2 digits of the year. For example, 9008554 is 1998. 05571 is 2001. 88765 is 1985. The Gibson website also has a handy serial number search that is free to access and use. Yeah, I can see that. So I feel like the other numbers were like the day, the month, and like what number, like how many were made on that day kind of deal going on. Let's see. Let me check my comments here. It's a Norwegian or Danish letter. Yeah. Supreme style headstock inlay. Edward, what's up, man? Have you stopped playing Reverend guitars? No, I still have 3 of them. I actually have 4 Reverend guitars over here. And they're still great guitars. Do I have? I actually have like 5 Reverends still. One is at the church. My pastor is borrowing it because he likes to rock. And, because some pastors like to rock. And, Reverends are still great. I discovered... let me tell you what I discovered. I discovered Kiesel guitars back in February of 2023, and I've kind of just gone off the deep end buying these Kiesels because they are really nice custom shop type stuff. And they are more expensive because they are custom. So if you have the money to get a Les Paul or a custom style guitar, or even an Eastman, or some of the higher echelon of guitar brands, then, great. But if you have enough money for like $1,000, then Reverend guitars are excellent for the money. A lot of the specs and features that you see on Reverends are normally like aftermarket upgrades that you have to add later after the purchase. like a treble bleed circuit, a bass contour knob, all the Wilkinson tremolo and like the Wilkinson trim type stuff, which is just really good. The string tree that comes on the headstock that pulls down multiple multiple strings at once. Locking tuners on the back. There's just so many things about Reverends that make it well worth the money, and they should cost more than they actually do, I think, because you do get a lot of those extra little customized little things about them. So anyway, so we'll go back to this Les Paul here. So this is a 1 and a 0. So that tells me the date or the year of the guitar. So it's a 2010. I feel like 299. I think this is the day of the year. So 299 is the day of the year. Let's go back to this website here. See if that holds true. See, that can't be right because 557, there's only 365 days in a year. So 557 wouldn't be the day of the year. Unless it's like the month, unless like the second letter is the month, then the next two is, see, that's not even right either. See, that can't be like May, like 5/7. That doesn't make sense. Then we got a 664 at the end. Let's go to this Gibson website and see what we got. Gibson USA, Gibson Acoustic. From 1975 to 77, the number is typically found on a decal on the back of the headstock. Okay. The section is designed to assist in dating and identifying instruments manufactured or distributed by Gibson Corp. Please note that this... Okay. Okay, fine. Serial number is an 8-digit. Okay. Here we go. This is what we need to know right here. So it says... Wish I could kind of blow this up a little bit bigger. This right here, I'm just going to read it. So the pattern is as follows. Y, D, 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 Y, R, R, R. Okay, so the YY is the production year. The DD is the day of the year. It still doesn't make a lot of sense. The day of the year. And the RRR is the factory ranking plant design number. Prior to 1984, when the Kalamazoo MI factory was closed, the numbers 001 through 499 indicated Kalamazoo production. Ranking numbers 500 through 5999 continued to indicate Nashville production through 1989. Okay, interesting. Okay, so for example, 70108-276. That would have been January 10th. Okay, January 10th, 1978 in Kalamazoo was the 276th instrument stamped that day. Okay, so I'm just trying to follow this here. So if we say that this is, see, there's 99. So like February 99. I'm trying to figure this out. Sorry. Production year, day, the day of the year. Okay. I mean, that works for that. So 299 would be the 299th day of the year, which means it probably would have been like October-ish, I guess, because you still have like another 60 days after that. Would have been like November and December. So this probably would have been October of that year. This is a good year for me that year, 2010. And then 482, this would have been the 482 guitar that was made that day. I think that's how it's saying it. Pretty sure that's how it's saying it. So 8276 means the instrument was produced October 3rd. 827. What's the 6-5 though? 501. Okay, got it. Note, Gibson USA goes to a 9-digit serial number in early 2005, which is when I started. Okay, so that makes sense. The 6th number is now a batch number. Batch 0 starts at the beginning of the day. Once we stamp 699, the batch number will change to 1. So the first 5 numbers remain the same. The last 3 numbers will remain the same. The only difference is the addition of this batch indicator. Okay, geez. Okay. I'm trying to figure this out. The first digit indicates the year of the manufacturer. For the 4th and 5th digit serial numbers, these were used in 1989 and 1999. The first and second indicate the year of the manufacturer. The 6th digit. Okay, since 2000. Okay. Interesting. All right, so the new model. So this is all learning experience right here. So this is fun. So the new model year typically launches in the fall as the current model year winds down, which is very true because we were always working on the next model year like in late fall. It is not uncommon for a new model year to be produced during the previous model year. Example, a 2015 model may have been built in late 2014. The pattern is as follows. YYRRR. So YY is the model year. R is the number in production for the model year. Starts in 2000. Okay, got it. Wow, this is crazy. In 2019, Gibson USA reverted back to his previous post-2005 scheme, which follows as YDDDYRRR. Y is the production year, D is the day of the year, and then R is the factory ranking that the day began with 0001. Okay, well, there you go. I think I fully understand now. I fully understand. So 10 is the year, 299 is the day of the year, and then 0482 is how many. That was the number that it ranked in the production for that day. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Nice Mahoogananny back. Mahoogananny. Yeah, notice these. You can't really see that well, but notice the different color of wings on that headstock there. Because what we have to do is you actually have to take two separate pieces of wood and glue them onto the side of the neck. And then when you put it on the router, it routes the shape out to give it its final, Gibson headstock shape. Apparently this is like mint condition. There's no issues with it anywhere at all. All very nice. Boom. I need to quit looking at this because I'm literally gonna buy it. It just looks nice. It looks like a great guitar. Because only Gibson is good enough, apparently. Very nice top on that. Bam. 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 There is like a little bubble going on within the controls there, but it's not a big deal. Then we got the rhythm and the treble selector. All right, I gotta get out of here. Otherwise, I'm gonna buy something I don't want, or I don't need. I want it. I definitely want it, but I don't need it. I don't need it, man. It says calculate shipping. What does this say? 37129. See, here I am just toying with the idea. $73.28 for shipping. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Guitar is practically mint condition. No scratches, bumps, or signs of wear. 2 of the knobs have small bubbles in them for the factory. The guitar was gifted to me, but I barely knew how to play and gave up pretty quickly, so it got very minimal use. Has been in its case the entire time since 2010. Wow. That is nuts. Well, that's a cool story. That is a cool story for sure. Francis says, I got the SB59 in Gold Burst. I love it. Did you not have one already, Doc? I did. I had the SB59V, but I ended up selling it. Only because it is strange. So the Eastman SB series, if you look at these two guitars here, okay, we have this one, and what I notice about Eastman's versus Les Paul's is this area right here, I think tends to be a little bit bigger, and this one's more proportional for some reason. And then if I go to let me go to another Eastman SB 59. Something about the shape of the guitar is just off. Okay, this may not be the best example. I want to get a different one here. Let's do this one. This is just that plain SB 59. All right, so if we look at the two guitars, it's gonna be hard to do, but something about this area here, I think is smaller, which makes this part over exaggerated. Okay. And therefore, when you're sitting it down on your leg, it tends to like want to fall back because you got a big booty on that thing, you know? And when you compare it to this Gibson, this is not as big, I don't think. And this is a little bit bigger. So to me, it's just more proportional of the body style. I don't know. Les Pauls just feel more balanced. And it's not saying that the Eastman isn't great. I mean, it looks great, plays great. But there's something about the feel of this body. Like maybe if this little dip like came down just like a little bit and all this was a little bit bigger. I don't know. It feels different to me. It's just a different feeling. It's not that it's horrible, but I can just tell when I'm sitting there, it just feels different. Now this one right here, this is a nice top. That's a really cool top. If you're going for that, whatever, but this is like 9 pounds, 6 ounces. That's a hefty guitar right there. I feel like the Les Paul I had before, I mean, this one probably is going to be closer to like 8.5, 9 pounds. It's going to be a traditional full heavyweight kind of thing. So, it is what it is. So, yeah, 57 and 57 plus pickups. Nice. What up, Dwight? How's it going? You got the glowing eyes there once again. It's kind of cool, actually. Hello, Francis. Francis Pedal Room. Yep. Just saying hi. Howdy doody. Yeah, I know. It's not horrible. It's not like the most drastic experience ever. But when you compare it to a real Les Paul, it just feels different. There's something about it that feels different to me. So yeah, therefore I just sold it. So but it was like last year. I sold it last year. Yeah, the neck is more forward. Yeah, that may be true. You need to feel comfortable with the guitar. If you feel more comfortable with the Les Paul, then that's the guitar for you. Yeah, I agree. The only thing about the Les Paul is this sharp edge right here on Les Pauls. When you put your arm on it, it can tend to dig in to your forearm a little bit, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'm gonna reveal my guitar setup here in a second, but let me switch guitars real fast. All right, so that is the Telecaster. Alright, so this guitar here, this was my homage to the Gibson Les Paul, but it's a Kiesel style guitar. So I got the big block inlays. It has the just the black metallic finish. You can kind of see a little sparkle in there, and in certain lighting. Steven. I'm doing great. How are you? I'm still trying to find a neck on a guitar I like for electric. Really? So are you more of a like an acoustic player, or what do you like? What do you like to do? All right, so for this guitar here, it doesn't have a sharp edge like normal Les Pauls do. So you can still like, I mean, there's like a little bit of an edge there, but it's not horrible. Wow, I need a tune. Wait, what's going on here? I'm muted there. Huh. Weird. Tuning. Let's see. All right, so yeah, plus with this guitar, you get a cool like walnut maple kind of finish to it. It is a set neck with a very sculpted heel right here, so you can get into those upper frets. Really nice. So by all means, I mean, this was my replacement. I sold the other Les Paul I had, and I was like, I'm just going to get a Kiesel version because it is a little lighter weight. It's not as thick, I don't think. I got the look that I wanted. I got the black with the gold hardware, big block inlays, kind of thing. But I mean, this is pretty gorgeous, if you ask me. Yeah, I just don't know. I actually sent the guy I sent him a offer. I was like, hey, if you could take a little bit off, I might be interested in putting down money I don't really have. It would actually just go on a PayPal credit, and hopefully I can pay it off in 6 months or less, but with no interest. All right, so let's reveal the big setup here. Okay. Let me turn on this camera. See if this will work. Maybe not. Yeah, there it goes. What's happening here? All right, so let's see if I can get this working. That's not going to work. Let's go here. I might actually not have this plugged in. Do I have this plugged in? It doesn't matter. I'm going to grab, let me grab this other one. Grab the Brio. All right, here we go, folks. So I am going through the Toemaster Pro right here. Hello, there's my Stetson hat and my Hershey's Kisses. So I'm going through the Toemaster Pro, but I'm using I got a split path on the end here. Okay. And what that means is my XLR outs, which you are hearing, is, well, actually, are you hearing this? Yeah, anyway, I have the XLR outs going to my interface, and you are hearing the cab there. But I'm also sending a non-cab version out to my little Quilter Aviator Cub going into the effects return of the amp. And then, because I can, I'm taking the line out of the cab, which has its own volume control, and I'm sending that over to input number 4 on my audio interface, which is the Orion Studio, yada yada, whatever. So you're like, Nathan, why don't you just go through the output of the cab or the output of your Toastmaster Pro and not worry about a separate amplifier? And I'm like, well, because of this. I can turn the line level down and then turn up the speaker volume. Now I get an amp in the room experience. Right, so there's that. And I can also, let me pull up this thing here. Yeah, I should be. Let me mute my mic for a second. You can hear the guitar coming, the direct guitar. Okay, so that's the sound of the XLR outs with the speaker cab, the virtual cab, coming out of the XLRs into my interface. And then this is just the 1/4 inch input or 1/4 inch line out of the amp. Guys, let's compare this real fast. This would be kind of fun. So I'm gonna not mute that. I'm gonna mute this one, unmute these. So here's the XLR outs. Okay, not bad. And then here is the line out of the amp. So it's a slightly different tone because I am technically using a different IR. I'm using either the IR from the Toastmaster Pro itself, or I'm using the built-in, just like cab simulation line output kind of sound. And I went over this a little bit last week on, because I had a lot of questions on, should I get an FR cab? Should I just get an amplifier? What's the pros and cons of each kind of setup? And therefore, I kind of been experimenting more this week on just using the amp and not my FR cab, which is the Fender FR12 over here, which is really it's an amazing FR cab. It sounds really natural. You do get that amp in the room experience, even though it's flat range full response. But something about an amp just gives you a little bit more extra flexibility, because you do have the option to plug directly into the amp input with no effects, or you can do a 4-cable method, which means you take your dirt and phase and flange stuff before your amplifier, send it to the input of the amp. Then you might send your chorus, tremolo, delay, and reverb into the effects loop of the amp, and therefore splitting the signal and having a more clean experience with your delays and reverbs, versus everything going to the front end of your amp. And then when you start cranking the amp gain, it's going to start driving those delays and reverb sounds and just makes it sound like washy and kind of like not as clear sounding, if that makes any sense. Or I could just simply sit here and listen to my XLR outs through either my headphones or through my studio monitors. And that's just yet another way to monitor your guitar sound when you're not using, whether you're using a real amp or not. I mean, it could be a tube amp. You could have a mashless DC30. You could have a Vox. You could have a Princeton. You could have a Twin. You could have some kind of Marshall amp. I mean, there's just literally tons of amps out there these days. I never have tried the Rev amplifiers. I mean, these are really good. Let me see if Sweetwater has these, or somebody has them. Let's see here. Rev, REVV. So, for example, there is the Rev Generator G50. Maybe we'll look at this one here. So for $2,000, which is essentially, you know, I mean, I guess it's a good deal for all that it does. But we have a channel 1 level. What's going on here? We have a channel 1 level. Then for channel 2, we have gain and level. So channel 1 is probably just going to be a clean channel. You just turn it up. And then channel 2, you allow to have the gain and the volumes. You can like drive the preamp gain and then turn down the volume afterwards. And then we have a channel 3. So that's kind of cool. So channel 1 and 2 share a treble, mids, and bass option there. And then channel 3 has its own treble, mids, and bass, but it has a separate bright, cut, and fat switch, gain and level. You have a master 1 and 2 volumes. You have a reverb and a gate, a presence, gate, level. You have a Bluetooth remote. That's kind of crazy. This does have a virtual cab option on there, which is neat. Then if we go to the back, wow, you have a left and a right XLR out. Okay, this is kind of crazy. So essentially, you're taking a real. I need to look into this. I need to try and review something like this. You're getting a real amp. Look at here with 2 notes. It says 2 notes technology there, or yeah, torpedo embedded by 2 notes. Okay, that's where your XLR's coming out of. You got your fuses. You do have an effects loop. So you still have to add your external effects, stuff like that. There's a foot switch. There's a cab lighting. I don't know what that means. I guess you can pair this with a cab and then it lights it up or something. There's a reverb level. There's a gate threshold, which is cool. All the different 50 watt or the speaker outputs, and there's a MIDI in and a MIDI through. So yeah, I mean you can change this thing around with MIDI if you want. It has a very involved foot switch, so you can switch between your 3 different channels. You can switch between your 2 different masters. You can mute it. You can turn on the effects. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Not bad for $2,000. Now this is the question: do I want to buy a guitar? Or do I want to buy a Rev G50 tube amplifier head? I mean, I don't know. I really don't want to buy either, but to a speaker cabinet, there's a $1,000 speaker cabinet. That's a lot of money for a speaker cab. Okay, so there's the cab lighting right there. See that? So I guess it has like a light built in. Maybe. Or I like to see one lit up somehow. It's a 2x12 closed back cabinet with Celestion Vintage 30 speakers. Yeah, interesting. The perfect companion for your Rev head. All right, so at this point, you get a cab for $1,000 and you get a head for $2,000. $3,000 gets you a real tube setup, but you still have to add your own effects. Okay, I mean you could do like a HX effects thing like I have down here. You could easily do a ToneMaster Pro kind of deal and probably switch everything about the generator with the ToneMaster Pro, because the ToneMaster Pro does have MIDI included that you can do the full MIDI PC and CC messages and all the different stuff. Here's a 1x12 cab, which would be more my thing. It does have a vintage 30 in there, and it still has that cab lighting. So I'm gonna have to look at what that is. What is the cab lighting? The rugged cab boasts 18mm birch construction, smoothed out upper mids with 0 spikes, while an extra rigid fixed speaker baffle produces a sound that's a cut above the rest. Durable chrome corners, whatever. Okay, so input jack plate for enhanced visibility on a dark stage. and an eye-grabbing light-up logo. So that's where that light thing is coming from. Okay, here's a D20. Let's see what this one does. It clearly didn't have as many options on there. It still has a virtual cabinet. It has the cab lighting. Okay. It's got a MIDI in, but not a MIDI through, and it only has a mono. It has a mono output. So usually, if you have like a stereo thing, like a left and a right output, you usually would have some kind of like a mono send, but a stereo return for like stereo effects, and then they can go out of the dual XLR outputs, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know. What is this saying? You can choose either 50 watts or 10 watts. You can make it internal load, or you can make it be an external speaker load. So I could literally just have this head sitting right here next to me, and that would be like, I could just take the XLR outs going into my interface, and that's how I would record. But I would still want to have like a 4 cable method of some sort to do that with. That's interesting. It's definitely a different way of doing it. Maybe eventually. So here's like a generator 120. See what this probably has the same kind of thing. Let's just look at it. Wow. Okay. I'm looking for the different channels. This has 4 different channels on it. 4 different channels. This also has XLR outs, reverb level, gate threshold, a USB. Wow, it's got a USB on it. Cab lighting, foot switch, through, MIDI. Let's see what our options are here. So it's the same foot switch as before, but this one has 4 channels on it instead of 3 for the other one. Yeah, $3,000. 3 stinking grand. See, you probably want a 2x12 for that one. But for the other one, I mean, I could probably get away with just having a 1x12 for sure. Anyway, I don't need to be buying an amplifier. Help me, somebody. I'm about to spend money I don't have. This one looks pretty. I like the silver front end. This thing would be heavy, though. This would be so heavy. Oh, there's a used one for $2,600. Nice. Yeah, maybe one day I'll invest again into a tube amp, but not today, man. I ain't gonna do it today. All right, we got some other comments here. People helping out. Steven with the V. Yep. I do like a wider neck because of my hands, but sometimes it's hard to find when on a budget. Yeah, I get that. I mean, acoustic guitars are naturally just wider by their design because. You usually like do finger picking and other things on acoustic guitars, and you typically don't do that as much on electric guitars. So David Kane's in the house. What's up, David? I'm over here going crazy. Ibanez has wide necks, very thin but wide, very thin but wide, very thin but wide. Yep. Gang autocorrect. Dang autocorrect. I have had my eye on a Rev D20 for a while. Not sure if I want to pull the trigger. Yeah, I don't know either. I do get a little overwhelmed with all the different modelers. And sometimes it is nice just to walk in and plug into an amp and then just play through an amp and not have to do all the other stuff. But then there is the question of, okay, how do I get effects? You know, how do I get other things without making like a small pedal board? And then since the amps do have MIDI on them, you know, you need some kind of MIDI switcher to like, you can change channels and then you can kick in and out your delay and reverb and tube screamer and phaser and all the different stuff. So for that reason, I do think tube amps are great, but you still need some kind of digital brain to get the most out of everything. You know, instead of having like a big pedal board with tons of analog pedals and maybe some digital pedals, and then having a switcher that all those pedals plug into, and still having some MIDI capability things. It's just a lot. It's almost too much. And that's essentially what I'm using my my Toastmaster Pro for, or even the Headrush for, is I have 3 different channels here. One for my Blues Juniors, my clean. Right, let me do, what are we listening to here? What are we listening to? Let's actually listen to the XLR output on this one. Okay, so what I have the Blues Junior here for my clean. So let's just compare this workflow here. Let's go back to the G20. Okay, no, it's not that one. I want this other one here. I want the G50. Yeah. And there are different looks to them as well. That one's kind of cool. Oh, that one's cool too. Actually, let's go off for this one. The purple snakeskin. That is mean looking right there. All right, so what we have here is, I can show you what I'm doing. So channel 1 is just going to be your clean guitar, right? It's going to be your country, it's going to be your chicken picking, maybe you like your 80s clean with a little chorus sound on it, you know, kind of thing. I go over to my Vibro King here on the Toastmaster Pro, and now that can give me my channel 2, slightly more gain type stuff. Okay, then I go over to my Jubilee lead, which is my true lead sound. It has, you know, all the gain that I would ever need. So all right, let's see something here. Let's see if Zounds.com has some Rev stuff. I don't think they do. No, they don't. See, I would have to contact Sweetwater's affiliate marketing program to see if I can get one of these in my hands just to like try it out. I mean, not necessarily keep it, but it would be cool to try out the Rev stuff. I just know a lot of people love them, and they're great, and you can get a lot of cool sounds and features from them. Look at that certificate. Look at that, baby. You got they give you a MIDI cable. They give you a USB. That's what I wanted to look at. Yeah, they got a USB thing there, which maybe there's probably a some kind of like editor or something. You can load your own IRs, maybe. Something going on, because there is a virtual cab selector there, and there's a Bluetooth remote. So I'm gonna have to look into this amp a little bit more. But that snakeskin is nice. Then we have just the normal black, which is also classy looking. Then we have the white top kind of thing going on. Click on that one. Let me, what's going on here? Let me zoom out. I appreciate everyone kind of hanging out and just going with me on this, because I'm just kind of doing some shopping. No need for anything in particular, but just looking at stuff I don't really need to buy. But this one has a cool, like, kind of look to the Tolex, which is neat. I think this amp would be great. This would be a really nice amp. Especially this. So this with the 1x12 cab. That was the Western Tuxedo kind of look. That's just a plain one. Purple snakeskin. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. All right, cool. I like it. You should check out Amplified Nation amps on Sweetwater. I will do that. Amplified Nation. So it looks like it's a Dumble kind of thing. But $3 or $4 grand is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Good Lord, it's a lot of money. Now, what's funny is this Wonderland amp. I do have a profile of that on my Kemper that a friend is borrowing. And this is always the rub. This is, let me show you what that is real fast. You can see it. So this is the rub. Is you like the convenience of what digital can give you, but sometimes it can be too many options. Okay. And what I've done here, like for example, in this Toastmaster Pro, is like I've chose 3 amps, a Blues Junior, a Vibro King, and a Jubilee, Silver Jubilee from Marshall. Let me see what's going on here. Output 2, output 1. Turn that off. Yeah, so if you keep it to where, if you keep digital kind of on a leash, to where you're not just going crazy making 100 presets for like a 5-song set, right? You really need to have, I think, this is my personal opinion, you really need to have the mindset of try to recreate a real tube amp and pedal board setup to where you're not just changing amps between the verse and the chorus, and you're not, it's okay to like change up pedals and stuff, but like try to just stick with an amp that you know you would try to use on a live situation, whether that's a Marshall or a Vox or a Fender or a Soldano or an Orange or whatever it is. And that's kind of the problem, is there's no one saying that you can't go from a Fender Princeton to a Orange head from a verse to a chorus. I mean, there's really no one saying you can't do that. But I think the trouble can come around when you just have option paralysis and you don't really have a good grasp on like why are you even changing to a different amp? Why can't you just kick in like a drive pedal or something to give you a gainier sound? That kind of stuff. So, but when you have a tube amp or even just this quilter over here, when I plug into that amp, I'm not expecting it to be anything else than what it already is, right? When I go into this Rev G50 amplifier. Yeah, it has 3 different channels, but those channels aren't going to be like so drastically different that you can't tell that they're from the same amp. You know, they're going to just have the same kind of voicing, but one's just going to be more gainier than the other. So therefore, you're not expecting it to be a Vox. You're not expecting it to be anything other than what it already is, which is what I've already said. So it's just options. Digital, I think digital for me is great for the multi-effect side of things, but maybe not so much for the multiple amp side of things. Because you could spend hours upon days just sorting through all the different amplifiers just to realize that, you know what, a Fender Princeton is a great amp for like clean, that I can just drive it up with some dirt pedals and stuff like that. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, right now, this Jubilee has a lot of gain to it. I'm going to turn the gain even more than it already is. Okay, so we have that one, but let me go to that back to a Blues Junior. And then kick in the Enchanter pedal, which is essentially a Paul Cochran Timmy. Okay, that's still really good. Let me turn the gain up on this one. Okay, I like it. Let's switch to the Jubilee again. All right, that one has less lows. Something's going on about it. Let me turn the highs down on this. Let me turn the presence down first too. Okay, so there's that sound versus a Blues Junior with the Enchanter in front of it, or a Timmy. Or even the Vibro King by itself. And then with the Timmy. And then with just the Jubilee. So to me, I'm hearing differences in mid-range. I'm hearing differences in just overall gain structure. Yeah, I mean, I could use any one of those tones for recording, for playing live, and it would be just fine. So there you go. Am I going to buy a Les Paul? I really hope I don't. But if the guy comes back to me with a really good deal, then I might squeak it out. Because I wouldn't mind having a Les Paul just as some kind of benchmark to compare other guitars to. You know, because the Les Paul is a Les Paul. I mean, it is what it is. That's just real fast. Just real fast. Let's go back to Sweetwater here. And let's look up Les Pauls. And let's see what other options that we have. Other than the 2010 whatever. So, I mean, obviously the $6,000 range is not going to work for me. A Gibson Custom. What did I just click on? Look at that. So this is what's crazy about Les Pauls is looking at it from the front here, you can't really see the curl all that much, but when you turn it, all that curl pops out, which to me is just insane. It's just really, really neat that it does that. And actually the Les Paul I had before I sold it basically did that. Like at certain angles, it wouldn't be all that special, but when you turned it just a little bit, all that curl just popped right out. And it was like, wow, okay. But for, let's just say $7,000. I mean, I'm not going to, that's just nuts. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on one guitar. I've definitely spent that much money on multiple guitars, but, you know, it is what it is. So here's a Slash for $3,000. Here's a Gold Top, a 50s Gold Top for $27.99. Here's one of the Les Paul Standard Blueberry Burst. These are all. There's one of the studios. There's $15.99, which is not bad. Gibson Les Paul Studio, Blueberry Burst. I feel like Steve Sterlacci was recently showing off this guitar, I think, or something. He was showing off something. What did I just see? There's the Epiphone. An Epiphone Black Beauty for $12.99. And you got a pretty decent headstock on that as well. So here's the deal. It's like, all right, do you spend $1,300 on an Epiphone, or do you just get a used 2010 traditional for essentially $2,000 after, you know, shipping and taxes and whatnot? So there's even a studio that's $2,000 already. That's nuts. I feel like this is this is the new session guitar, and it has the new cutout there on the heel, which is nice. And you got the Cobalt Burst, which is what Steve Sterlacci was showing off on his channel. So yeah, for $2,000, I'm spending the same money anyway. Whether you get a new guitar that's called a studio, or you get a older, or essentially a 15-year-old guitar. That's something that I more than likely had a hand in making. So it is what it is. This is also a multi-piece body as well. So what you're seeing there is there's one piece and there's another piece over here. And I don't think that looks all that great, actually. At least with this guitar, the back of it's all one piece. It's a one-piece back. That's what you're getting for $2,000. Versus a studio session, which has a 3-piece body. It's not. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not as aesthetically pleasing to the eye, essentially. But yeah, there's that guitar. I'll let you know by next week if I buy a new guitar or not. I really don't need to buy a new guitar, but let me get out of my email here. Man. Yeah. Uh-oh. I need to get off. I gotta... Yeah. Yes, I do. All right, so thanks, guys, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for commenting and for hanging out. Yeah, the Alex Lifeson guitar has a Floyd Rose trim on it, which is cool. It's very neat. And it is what it is. So I got some things to do. I got another meeting to jump on here. Hopefully there's some good things will come out of that. And in the meantime, if someone wants to go buy me a Les Paul Traditional 2010, I'll send the link to you. And if you do that, I'll give you free guitar lessons for a year. How about that? If you want to buy me a guitar. I will gladly exchange my time and my knowledge for a free guitar. So you do with that as you do with that what you will. Thanks to everyone for watching. I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in that next video. Keep rocking.